Brendan from Ali.com.au. Welcome to Australia.
Thank you.
I know you asked everywhere you go about the local teams and the local leagues, but do you get a sense about where Australian football is going after the World Cup last year and now, with the A-League doing quite well? What's your sense these days?
Well, I got a feel for it when I was here a few years ago. Obviously, we played in Melbourne, and it was an incredible evening. The whole night, the supporters travelling from all over Australia to be there, and I'm sure the same will be tomorrow evening. But I also got a sense of the football. Obviously, I spoke to the manager at the time. He's now the national manager, and I know the philosophy here now that you're trying to follow in Australian football, and it's pretty clear the identity of how the teams are playing. Very expansive attacking football. A lot of teams playing 4-3-3, and obviously you get very, very talented players. And like you say, from the World Cup and each season, you just see the individual players and the teams improving their idea of football and how they're playing. So it's great to see.
Do you have a question for Adam as well, Aidan, or do we go? Super. Next question for the guys on the top table. Chris, in fact, will come to Chris from LFC TV for the next question.
Yeah, I'm just wondering now, after you got your goal on Tuesday night, just wondering, do you think that's the start for you to see obviously it was good started last year, you didn't play the goal,
Yeah, hopefully it's it's a vitally important period for us players, not just myself but the whole squad. Getting good game time on the pitch, and it was frustrating for me last season picking up an injury so soon in my career at Liverpool. So I'm looking forward to getting my fitness levels up in pre-season and getting as much game time as possible.
Yeah, I know it's your first visit to Australia as well, and you're out in town today. Did you have a walk around? How have you found the reception from the fans so far?
Yeah, it's been brilliant. Had a little walk around earlier, had a coffee, and people are really friendly, and there's a lot of supporters here, and I think it's going to be 50,000 here tomorrow night, so I'm looking forward to the atmosphere.
The pre-season is an important period. Ultimately, it's about developing the fitness. The winning and losing isn't really the objective, but of course it's better to win and perform well. So this is a very important stage of our pre-season. The players are looking very, very good, very strong, and obviously the game tomorrow night will be another good test for us.
Vince?
Yeah, so Vince Regari from Australian Associated Press. How are you going?
Hi, Vince.
What do you know about Brisbane Roar and any individual players that you might have a background on?
Yeah, as I said, I understand that the manager will be his first game, and obviously John was an excellent player. He came into England and obviously done very, very well. I've looked at his history. I'm always interested on the opponent and the manager, and he's done his work. He's worked in development football. He's worked with youth. He's worked with first team, and obviously now comes to here. So, and also I seen the young player in Jamie Young. Jamie, the goalkeeper, was one of the young guys I took from Australia when I was the academy director at Reading. And it seemed a long way at the time for him to come over, but he was a wonderful boy to work with, always very hungry to learn. He played a number of games in the English professional leagues, and obviously now he's back home in Australia, and obviously looking to do well here. So, but I've looked at the system and the team, and obviously play very good football, and we know it'll be a good test for us.
Any follow-up, Vince? Yes, Alex.
Alex Brett from Bauer Magazines. Brendan, a lot of new faces in the team, a lot of new faces in the management. This is your fourth season, but it feels like you're starting from fresh. How do you feel about this new season?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's one where you're always looking to improve in every aspect of your team, and if you want to be somewhere for a long period of time, then there's going to be change, because you're always looking to improve. I think the first thing I would say is in terms of the staff, it was obviously a very difficult decision, because morally, the two guys that left are really good guys, great professionals. However, I just wanted to change it up, and obviously I've brought 3 people now into the staff just to take it in a different direction. But it was no it wasn't telling in terms of their contribution, because I felt it was very good. I just felt the need for change. And in terms of players, when you're looking to improve, then of course that's something that'll always take place. And but I'm really happy with the players that we brought in. Really happy with the players that now have, like the likes of Adam, who's had a season under his belt now, looks really strong in pre-season and now can really push on in this season.
And you had a chance to meet Mal Meninga, of course, from, I believe you're meeting with him maybe later today or tomorrow. But Queensland Rugby League has got a great culture of winning. Do you think you learned something from Mal and the way of developing strong leadership structure and culture of winning in a team?
Well, that's important, I think, for any manager, and the type of coach that learns from all types of people, you know, both in business and in sport. So, as I said, we've also got the Springboks staying in our hotel as well. So now we get the chance to meet various people, and it's always nice to exchange ideas and methods and what you can take to make you better. You'll always do that.
I'm going to go back to Aidan for a question for Adam.
Adam, what do you hope to achieve this season?
I hope to improve on last season, personally and as a team. As we said earlier, it was a difficult season for myself on the injury front. I picked up a lot of injuries, hence why I'm concentrating on pre-season and getting extra strong and extra fit. But I feel we've made some good signings so far, and I've seen already during pre-season that we're gelling, and there's a good core of players here, and I think we've got the recipe to achieve something special this year.
Lady at the back of the room there.
Yeah, I'm really more than Hungarian television. You have a very fresh face in the team, Adam Bogdan. And how did you choose him, and how does he perform, and will he get the opportunity during this tour in Australia as a goalkeeper?
Well, Adam's obviously come in to support Simon Millionay, who's our number one goalkeeper. But like all goalkeepers that come in, they're always fighting to improve and fighting to be the number one. Adam's been very impressive in his time in England, where he's done very, very well for Bolton, and we just felt that he's got good experience of English football. He's a talented keeper, and like I said, he can come in and push Simon all the way to be number one.
Marco from the Courier, yes?
Hi, I'm Marco. I'm
Hi.
from the Courier Mail. Brendan, you said that you strengthened the squad. Some of the other top clubs in England. How tough is it going to be to get back in that top four?
Yeah, it'll be very difficult. I think, as you say, we as a squad have improved, but other teams are equally looking to do that as well. But what's going to be important for us is the team, and I've been particularly pleased with the players that we've brought in. Their profile fits how we want to work, and you add that to the players that we've already got. I think, like Adam said, we can have a very, very good season, but we're under no illusion that it's going to be difficult. But we go into this season and expect to do well, because that's the types of mentalities that we have.
Any follow-up, Marco? Any follow-up, Marco? We'll go to some of the UK journalists. Ken, do you know?
Hi, Kim.
You were saying the other night you don't want to talk to the public about who's trying to buy, etc., which is fine. And you're also saying that you're happy with the new guys that you've brought in. How do you see your squad in terms of balance and numbers? Because you've got the Europa League as well, obviously, extra and so. How do you see that going forward over the next months?
Yeah, you need a good squad for all the competitions that we're in. We've obviously got our two domestic cup competitions, as you say. We've got the Europa League and we've got the Premier League. So if we want to fight on all fronts, and that's the nature of a club like Liverpool, then we have to have a strong squad, and I believe that we're building a very strong squad.
You're still getting that. You're still kind of working on that aspect. No, I'm not trying to drop you out, but you're still working on it.
You're always looking to improve.
I'll take that as a baby. Thank you.
Dom, anything?
Sorry, this is the first time we've seen since Raheem's finished, and moving on, but he spoke about you and thanked you for the contribution that you've made. Now that he's been to his career, now that he's gone, obviously he's a big miss. What would you say about him, what he's done for you and going forward in his career?
Yeah, listen, I think I said it the other night. There was lots of reports about him and I not speaking and falling out, and it's never been further from the truth. The this is a kid that I put into the team at 17 years of age, a wonderful talent, and from that point him and I worked very, very closely. There's obviously stories and things go about which were unfortunate towards the end, and I was probably one of a number of reasons why he was maybe supposedly wanting to go, but it's done with now. We were on text yesterday, you know, so our communication is fine, and we had a long chat about his journey before we left on the Sunday in the office, and you know, because I thought by the time we'd come back he'd probably be gone. He's a wonderful young kid for me, played really well. He became a young player out of the youth team and became a fully fledged international footballer. And we can all hold our head up high at Liverpool, knowing that we put absolutely everything into him and his development. And the supporters gave him all the support and nurtured him through. But he decided to move on. So for now he's a Manchester City player, and for us now it's about the focus on the players that we have.
So obviously there's some anxiety from supporters when you see a player of him go after Suarez and one thing or another. Have you shown Liverpool still a big draw and can hold on to players of his talent and levels of talent going forward?
Listen, players are always going to be wanting to come to Liverpool. I've said it before and I've said it many times. I think it's such a iconic club. It's a great club, but the modern game and the market now means that players will move on, and it's important that, you know, you can, unfortunately it's what you have to accept. You have to fight, and as long as you can do everything you possibly can to keep the player, then that is all you can ever do. And if the player moves on, you thank him for his contribution, and you look to develop and improve the next player that comes in, as well as the team. So, but you can't deny that the size of the club and Liverpool is a football club. The challenge for us is to get it back in amongst the top teams in this division, and hopefully that continues to attract players.
James?
Do you need to replace Raheem, or is Firmino, is he already the replacement?
That's not so much a direct replacement for Raheem. It's just about improving the squad. I think we've, like I said, I repeat, we've brought in a number of really good players, and like as I said, you add that to what we've already got, then the balance in the team looks strong. So, but no, there's not a need. I didn't feel for a direct replacement for Raheem.
How long have you been tracking Firmino, and you just explain where you see him fitting in, because we've seen him play for Brazil and Hoffenheim in a number of different positions. Was that part of the appeal as well, that versatility? Yeah,
I think for me the flexibility of the player was important. You know, he's an outstanding talent, as you say. You know, he's got wonderful touch and appreciation of the game, but key when you watch him play is the determination, how hard he works. So he can play in any one of the sides, he can play through the middle, or he can play in behind. And as I said, he's accustomed to European football, so that should make the transition a little bit easier for him. But a talented player who wants to score a goal.
Okay. Going to wrap it up with questions to the manager with Chris.
Brendan, last season, one of the things that took a lot of time was the new signings adapting. Have you seen from the new players already this summer that it's going to be a quicker process and they can maybe start a bit better than last season?
Well, no, I think it's key for us to start, and I think for some players last season there was reasons behind that. You know, if you look at likes of Adam was only in the door and unfortunately picked up an injury that he couldn't avoid, so that makes it very difficult. He's out for a long time, and then just unfortunate he picks up one or two little niggles, but in his time when he's played he's been absolutely outstanding. You know, I think the players that we've brought in are accustomed to the Premier League, but it doesn't matter how good or an indifferent player you are, it always takes time to adapt and settle into a new club. And you know, I expect like James Milner, who's an experienced player, Nathaniel Klein, who's got experience the Premier League. Of course, they've got a little bit more experience of the nature of the football, but there's still always an adaptation period.
Final question from agents. Concluding questions.
Adam, Adrian from Outside 90, just a quick one. James Milner, obviously a teammate of yours for England. How big is he going to be for the side? What's his, how's he been getting into the squad?
He's bedded in absolutely fine. He's a great professional, James, and for us to get his signature shows massive intent from the football club and the direction that we want to go this season. He's won the Premier League with Man City, and he's got over 50 caps for England. So he brings massive experience, and he's the type that's going to help the new signings settle in. The likes of Danny Ings and Divock Origi and even the young lads coming through the academy. To have a role model like James to look up to is exactly what they need.